Lali-Ho, free enterprise friends, and welcome to the Lali-Ho League Swiss round, week 1. We have Kohrek versus Tybalt. I am one of your co-commentators, Groundflyer, and with me is the wonderful miscreant, Possumorpheus. How are you doing this evening?
Oh, I'm doing great, Ground Flyer. I have eaten all the buttons that have been presented to me. I apologize for nothing about it, so I'm in a great place. I'm excited for this race, and I'm excited to do comms with you, Mr. Ground Flyer.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm pretty pumped. I've been, hanging out with you in plenty of chats and all sorts of stuff, and it's cool we finally get this chance. So it's gonna be nice. This is gonna be a great matchup, as all of them are. Kohrek is, I think, kind of more old guard, and Tybalt has been really good recently. I feel like he's kind of been getting a lot better and crushing stuff. So this could go a lot of places. What do you think about those two random objectives there? We have the usual static ones, but we have defeat Valvalis and get Yang.
I mean, the obvious one is defeat Val. That's the one that's going to be weighing on our runners' minds. It's going to be weighing on chat's mind. It's the big one here. Yang, yes, could be rude, could be a package, could be giant, but the big one is with a required Val, it disincentivizes going full mage party. It actually impacts how you construct your team. That's a big one. Just simply seeing that there and knowing it's required, it changes your mindset entirely as to how you need to approach things.
Yeah, absolutely. Like that's a fight you have to like actually strategize for 90% of the time. Like that's not something you can just mess around. Like maybe you need a cane, maybe but maybe it's someplace where magic is super weak and you can actually use nuke and stuff. Like there's but it's always a huge gatekeeper. She is maybe one of the worst gatekeepers in the game. So that could make that really exciting.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to see how our runners, tackle that. Both Kohrek and Tybalt are very well established, as you said. Both incredibly good runners as well. Tybalt, lots of recent experience. Kohrek, the last time I really remember seeing him kicking around, I think was the Fabul Gauntlet, where if I remember right, he was the third overall seed, I think, going into the bracket rounds. So a very strong competitor. It'll be interesting to see if that all of that recent practice that Tybalt is doing gets him up to that level that we've seen Kohrek perform at in the past. So I'm very excited to see these two, see how they route initially, see how they route the long game. It's going to be a good one. I'm very happy to see this match happen.
Oh yeah, tremendously. I think it's pretty interesting that we have a Rosa start. That might be the best character to start with, honestly, because she is a Renaissance woman. She can hurt stuff with her bow, and she can heal, and she can do magic damage. She can do it all. She's awesome. So that's going to make the early game a lot easier too, just having that guaranteed. And here we go.
And that's a strong start right there. We have power couple, we have a hook. Hook routes are the worst. And we have King Queen Eblin sitting in the Baron Castle. So that's a free fight at a very low HP spot. Not what the runners want to see, but this is an incredibly strong start. Cecil himself has, if I'm not mistaken, a 1 in 3 shot of coming with a black sword on Sineki. It's either going to be Shadow, Darkness, or Black Sword. Black Sword's incredibly powerful early on. Rosa can come with a whole bunch of random stuff, but as long as she gets backroad and has arrows of some sort, she can aim fairly effectively early on, and she's that white mage that everyone's always looking for.
Tremendously. But yeah, Cecil, as a Dark Knight, usually has basically no utility. But when he has Black Sword, he can actually insta kill some enemies, even bosses without the boss bit. And whoa, okay, we've got a Yang already, so that's an objective. That's probably going to happen pretty quick. And we also have the other king kind of hanging outside the castle with Yang. So yeah, he'll be a quick beater upper, and unfortunately, he's usually pretty nasty some places. So that's a kind of a freebie at like 400 HP.
Yeah, that's Odin. That's not going to do much in the way of damage to you. I did see Kohrek picked up a crystal ring in Damsian. That's a huge find early on. Crystal ring is one of the best, if not the best, defensive pieces of gear that any character can equip. not named Dark Knight Cecil, of course. It gives bonus to agility. It gives huge physical and magic defense. It's just a wonderful piece of equipment. Yeah, that's a great pickup in Damsian. So we'll see if Tybalt also loots the Damsian treasury or not.
Yeah, the magic defense on that is so good, and like resistance to debuffs and stuff. I think that one you can't get. Is it the evil wall? You can't get crushed at the end with a crystal ring.
It's actually the crystal ring preventing paralysis
Oh,
against
paralysis from
Golbez.
Golbez.
Yeah,
Sorry, yeah, wrong
the
fight.
ribbon prevents the crush from Evil Wall.
Okay, yeah, there we go. Got it. Did
But
either of them check waterfall? I saw them go there, and I didn't see them check a boss. But I think it was Val. Okay.
yep.
Wait a minute.
So
Oh wow. Well, there
yeah.
you go. Okay, that's kind of enormous.
It's the type of thing though that you're not going to do early on. The reason for that is that spot has 31 agility, and that's a lot of agility.
Not only does it have a lot of agility, it's like a lot of HP for that spot, almost no XP. Like there's really no benefit to doing it. So you might as well wait until you've got a little, you can go in there and swing a couple of swords at her and beat her up, because otherwise it's going to take some time.
Yeah, you get all of 1200 XP from doing that spot, and to sit through all of that nonsense with Val, no, not early on.
Did you see this shop?
I was just gonna say that's grind in a kit right there. That's our sirens and our hourglasses.
Darkness Crystal and Gold Dragons in its go mode. Like this is blowing up really quickly, which is kind of interesting. It's gonna. I don't think this is gonna be speedy necessarily, but it's certainly gonna be pretty quick grind time and pretty powerful. It's gonna be exciting. And they're already. It looks like, well, at least Tybalt's going in to check the character, and obviously King Queen Evelyn's spot, because that could be a demist. But the character could be one of the, since it's what is it? It's C standard. Ooh, yep. There's a vanilla edge. You can't get edge in non-gated places, but now we have an edge. I don't know if any weaponry with him, because it is C necky. I don't know what he actually can come with. Not a lot.
He comes with flame.
There you go.
That's the important part. He comes with flame.
And you can't even, utilizing his steel to get sirens and stuff is one of his nice utilities, but there's not a whole lot of reason to do that unless like you want to go in and take some Mad Ogres on and steal some Bacchus from them, which could always be a good idea to grab a couple of those.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if we get an equipment peep real quick from either of our runners to find out what Edge came with, what Cecil came with. Is there a black sword on that Cecil? Is there a middle sword on this Edge, or did he come with like a fire claw or something?
Like I feel like oftentimes I wouldn't bother like going into the menu until a lot later, kind of do everything at once, and I generally still try and do that. It's a good strat, but like one thing it's good to do is kind of get that information early of like if you have Iridia, maybe she has a dancing dagger. Like there's definitely some like actually kind of early game changing items that you can get. It's really good to get that info and kind of know what you can do early on.
Yeah, absolutely. It does look like that Edge came with a silver knife. That is underwhelming, to say the least. That, as far as his best weapons go to start with on Sineki, is probably near the bottom.
Is that worse than a short sword? I think it might be.
The accuracy will be for sure.
There's a ninja sword.
There's a ninja sword, so that alleviates a lot of that issue. That's huge early on.
I think there's also a short sword in one of these. So Edge will actually have like two swords.
I mean, even without two swords, just one single ninja sword is fantastic. This early on to combine with that flame, that's going to take our runners places very quickly. Put a cat claw on him for good measure. Give him 5 extra agility, 5 extra strength.
Yeah, this place, with T Wildish on, these chests are spicy. Even if they don't have any chance at tier 7, tier 6 is pretty good. And we're definitely seeing like some of the higher tier stuff, obviously, like we've seen that crystal ring even. But like
the crystal ring was nice. I'm interested that fire claw that was in the shop here. Having an edge, why not spend the 350 to pick up the fire claw as a just in case?
And you're going to go to Baron Inn and have a Yang. Like that's going to happen soon. So there's no reason not to just have that around, I think.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing and something that I always forget is, hey silly possum, you know that Edge can equip claws, right, buddy? And I just find myself, talking to myself and
In the
wondering
third
why.
person?
Yes, yes, all the time, wondering why do I not remember that Edge can equip claws, and now we see here goes a cat claw or a short sword, one or the other will be going on. But I always just wonder why do I forget this? So
Yeah, no, I hear that. Honestly, I also forget. Like, I when I have a Yang early on, sometimes I like if I have like nothing, I'll actively like search for like a Thunderclaw for a minute, just because that's nice. Oh, and there's another Ninja Sword for Kohrek.
very
So
nice.
that Edge has quickly gotten very, very good gear.
And looks like Tybalt is ramping up to do one of my favorite things: is the Mist Cave peak, and possibly take on the boss and also loot these 4 chests. Well,
Or
not
not.
Golbez though. That's not worth the time under any circumstance.
But boy, does Tybalt not hate seeing that Golbez there and not having to deal with that jerk somewhere else. Like, that's one of those ones you have to like save before fights and like be really cautious, because it can mess you up in literally any spot, even like free spots.
Oh yeah, I mean you can find Golbez at Mount Hobbs, for example, and think, oh yeah, I'm having a great day, and Golbez says you're not anymore.
Exactly. And there's an Eddie on top of Hobbs. Looks like Tybalt might be taken. Martin, nice.
And a Mom Bomb as well. So speaking of things that Flame is really good against, Mom Bomb's little baby bombs. This is going to be a great usage of an early Edge.
Actually, the real deep cut secret that I would do, well, obviously if you have an Edge and Flame is better, but I would love using Dark here. Like, that's I love getting Dark early game and actually like finding good ways to utilize it.
That's perfectly fair. And Dark with a black sword would do enough damage to take out these bombs. If it's not the black sword, though, it wouldn't. So I still haven't had a chance to check.
Unfortunately, I don't think Kohrek thought about the flame, because he just used a J item, but took out that boss right away. So done and done.
Yeah, the Zeus Rage is less of a necessity, though. Also because we know, well, there's Darkness Crystal, because why not?
You see the Darkness Crystal? I guess. I mean, they can grind right now. They got Hourglasses and Sirens. Like, they could be done. This is amazing.
Yeah, this could be very quick. We'll definitely have to see where our runners decide to go. Obviously Antlion's going to get completed. Things like Ordeals with Assessa will get completed. But yeah, this could be an early night for our European friends hanging out in stream, much earlier than they may have anticipated.
Yeah, right, exactly. Certainly for us as well. But yeah, this is spicy. I mean, obviously the other thing they're definitely going to be doing is Baron in, so that's one key item that they're going to be checking regardless of anything else. But like, there's definitely incentive to just kind of like power up everybody to full power, go blow through the moon. Maybe you find a magma key up there, and then you don't have to bother taking the hook route again. Go that way. You could just kind of go down, and the world is your oyster at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. And we do see Kohrek opting to not take on Edward. So deciding that he's going to leave the Bard for another time or another place entirely. Not interested in his services at this time.
Yeah, he's going and doing Fabul, so that's interesting. He's not going for the no discount double check here. He's going to go in and do this one, defend Fabul, and get that key item, and get Sheila key items later.
Absolutely. Now, did we see anything to back row Edge yet? I haven't, but I'm asking because there was a boomerang in that shop in Fabul.
Oh snap! No, I don't think we saw anything. Certainly not. Nobody has anything equipped, and I mean, as you can see, even Kohrek has them all front road. So that's my guess that that he certainly does not. I don't think I've seen anything of the boomerang variety other than what you just said. I did not know. That's awesome. Did he grab it?
He did not, and that's one thing that. Again, with Edge, like, we get the Dwarf Axe right away, and so you think for your melee fighters, oh, no problem, we're going to be able to back row everyone. Well, that's true with the exception of Edge. He does not get back rowed from that Dwarf Axe.
Hey, but what about Edward?
Well, any harp for Edward, or any bow and arrow. So Edward's a little different.
No, I know. I'm just like, count him as DPS.
I mean,
barely.
Edward's a hide mage. How's that?
I mean, he can like enter a different dimension. Like, he can disappear and nobody's like, where is he? Where did he go? I guess he must have exited their dimension. That's the only thing I can think of. So that's pretty powerful.
And yeah, absolutely. Tybalt showing off one of Edge's other great functions, and that is the Dark Command, saying, "Hey Val, eat this Gungnir. Kane has now betrayed you as well, and have a nice day." So,
And
uh,
Val is down. That was quick.
yeah, Val is down, looting a couple chests in the waterfall as well. Those chests do have a floor of tier 3 and a ceiling of tier 6, so oftentimes you can get a lot of good stuff in there. Unfortunately, an apple and a blizzard, not exactly what you're looking for.
Yeah, I mean, especially the apple is basically just like fodder for buying other stuff. And Kohrek found a rat tail at defense, so he's going to be probably shortly heading over to the crud. What's the name of the cave? Adamant Cave, and handing that in. See what we got. So we got another key item check and a nice casual ice claw in the grass there. So that's going to be another nice elemental claw for either Edge or the Yang.
Yeah, that any elemental applications that you can find with this team are going to behoove our runners greatly. The big thing about it is looking at this party composition. You have Rosa with some sort of arrow. You have Edge with flame, but you don't really have any other way of dealing elemental damage right now. So those claws are going to become very important.
I mean, Edge can even kind of play Punch Mage once in a while, so, you know?
He can.
And actually, a huge thing that Kohrek just found over here, he's in the, which shop? It's Silvera shop, but those were the exits, so he does not have anyone who can cast Exit as of yet, because Rosa does not acquire that until you actually do Zot. So getting Exits is actually pretty useful. It's going to save a lot of time, a lot of places getting out of stuff, so that's a nice find.
Yeah, exits are definitely helpful. A little less helpful knowing that Cecil's in the team, because Cecil does get exit around level 20 or so.
True,
But
yeah.
definitely still a good thing to have.
Yeah, right. Early game, I guess I should add. Yeah, right. Like as soon as you get Pally Cecil up there, but
Yes.
but right now, obviously, like that's useful trying to get out of some places. Like if you have to go do music and you don't have Cecil leveled up, that'd be a great time to do it.
Definitely true.
And although we found Valis, and Tybalt obviously has beaten him yet so far, but there's still one more boss that can be hunted for. So they will still be doing boss checks because the elusive D-Mist is still out there. What does that D-Mist provide?
Usually pain and suffering, followed
Exactly.
by a brief intermission where you don't want to attack. No, Demist gives an item. It could be a key item. It could be, I believe, a tier 4 to 7 item as well, based on what would be at Rydia's mom in the village, Village Mist. So it'll be interesting to see what our runners end up with if they are to come across Demist. Looks like that rat tail is Legend Sword, and that is
Is that French vanilla sort of? It's kind of like the item is French vanilla because like part of the pair. It's the opposite. I don't know.
Whatever it is, it's looking pretty jetty. And now I know from personal practice with Tybalt, should we get to this, he is versed in 1200 strats. He also knows Eddie strats. I do not know Kohrek's experience with either. So I think Niabari may have had places to be tonight and just wanted to give our runners a way to get done fast.
Yeah, thanks for doing that. That way I can kind of hang out and spend some time with my cats this evening. I appreciate that extra time, but I'll do as much work as I can while I'm here. I'm not gonna slack off too much, I promise.
Oh, for sure. And speaking of not slacking off, the magic at this spot here that Kohrek's at, ol' Ashura here is just going to heal and heal and heal unless you life lock. And that is what Kohrek's going to be doing here, is life locking this Asura. So immediately after you see that life 1 cast from Asura, that's when you attack, and then it will basically save the face that Asura was on, and then you can just attack again when it recasts life. So it's a nice way to keep Asura looped, that you basically don't have to worry about Asura doing really violent, nasty things or dragging the fight out super long, which she is wont to do for sure.
Yeah, she's generally not like difficult, as in it's just going to destroy you, but like you absolutely have to have the right kit to take her on in the right spot. So, and having an edge with 2 ninja swords is pretty good kit, honestly. So yeah, that was a quick takedown. and we're pretty close to getting ordeals done here too. You have half of Forge. Really, there are 3 key items that are out there. Each one of them will provide access to something or access to one of the objectives to complete. So there's really 2 things for them to find out of the 3 that are possible, and it's go mode, and they can just go grind and finish. This could absolutely be like the fastest seed we see in this whole tournament.
Yeah, this definitely has the potential to be a zoom zoom. We'll see what's at the top of ordeals here as well, and looks like a pink tail. So just wait. There's more. There's yet another part of go mode, and here we go.
Wow, 1 item away from go mode now. 1 item. And it could be in Baron Inn. We don't know. It could be that adamant rock right there. It could be the harp right there. And that's it. They don't need anything else except levels and party.
And yet another rude boss out of the way. There's Ogopogo sitting in one of the least rude spots in the game.
Such a bummer. Ogopogo can really just mess your day up, just horrifyingly bad. And here you can like take 1 swing with edge and 2 ninja swords, and then the noodle's gone. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for the noodle. It's unfortunate for us watching, but for the runners, again, they're very happy to see that.
Oh yeah, absolutely right. Yeah,
nobody wants to mess with the Nope Noodle at rude locations.
exactly. Yeah, and they're not completely like losing the Golbez there. Those are all really nice things to have. And obviously at this point, like they're really just down to like finding 1 item. But think about the number of locations they have to check. There are just there's like a dozen underground. There's still a couple above ground. There's a half dozen on the moon. And they need to find 1 of 2 items out of all of that. So they could be, as jetty as this looks, and it absolutely probably is. It could still be a pain in the neck. So I'm curious to see where this goes. But like, there's definitely still some possibilities where this could still be a long one.
I mean, there's still the possibility of a demisted CPU holding the twin harp, which then holds the adamant rock.
That was spicy.
All these things are still on the table. So while this absolutely looks like go go go, that's not necessarily where we're at. We do know Yang is in the Baron Inn, so that even if he's the giant character, it doesn't unfortunately do much. But here's a good piece of news for Kohrek. That's an arty bow that can go on that brand new Cecil, or it can go on Rosa. That's very good gear there.
Yeah, best bow in the game, and not even close. That'll crush some stuff. That's super good to have, and Rosa, can do some really good damage with that. But yeah, Cecil can also hang on to it. I don't actually. What is the best thing we found for Cecil as a paladin? Is there anything, or has it just been like a dagger?
No, the legend sword. Come on now, it's 42 attack. It has the holy element. It's technically a holy sword.
I'm not sure that thing is sharp enough to scratch my back.
Well, it's the thought that counts. It's a sword. He wanted a holy sword. He got a holy sword.
It probably literally has holes in it, actually.
Looks like Kohrek found some mute bells. Ground Flyer with darkness access this early and sirens available. Why are those mute bells good?
Well, I mean, actually, I wonder if they would be good, because you have hourglasses too. But I mean, the thing you can do is there are, I don't remember exactly the place they are, but there are warlocks on the moon. You can get if you use a siren in a certain location on the moon, you can get a 3 warlock fight, and it gives you pretty good XP. But you can throw a mute bell on the warlocks, and it doesn't totally nullify their ability to beat you up, because they start doing physical damage. But it makes things a lot easier, and you can just cut them down and throw lives on them and get a pretty good chunk of XP. It's a really good way to grind. It's not as like efficient as doing the dragons, but it can be really helpful. And then also mute bells are good if you have to fight like the Baron guards someplace. If you throw those on, then they can't counter stuff on you, so that's helpful too.
Yeah, they could also be helpful for an alt gauntlet on the moon. You never know.
We can hope.
I'm still hoping. Looks like there was an Ice Brand, though, for Cecil, which is honestly not the worst. Having gone into Zeromus fights with Ice Brand Cecil before, it hurts. I promise you, it hurts. But it's not the end of the world.
Then we've got an Octomam in the Baron guard spot. Oh no, I'm sorry, the Yank spot. getting confused here. But that's honestly, this is a really good fight to find here. Like Octomam can be punchy, and maybe it will take one swing at you that'll feel bad, but this is a really slow spot. And if you're just doing physical damage like he is right now, every time you get, was it 3 hits?
Yeah.
One of the tentacles disappears, and Octomam slows down until the point where like Octomam's tremendously slow. Or you could just have an edge with ninja swords and do like 2 shots and take that boss out.
Yeah, that was not going to be an Octomam long for this world. There's a tower key, so finally something that doesn't directly give our runners part of their go mode. Nice to see that for a change in the seed. Maybe we'll be here for more than a half an hour.
I don't know about that. We'll see, I guess. But yeah, no, that's right. And literally everything has been well. The rat tail led to the legend sword, but that was like the only one that was like once removed at all at this point.
Yeah. But looks like Kohrek with objectives 3 and 5 might be heading back to take that Val on right now. Looks like he is. Tybalt, I expect, will be hitting up Baron in quickly, as he has now traded away that pink tail as well. So both of our runners kind of crossing paths, as we might not have a good chance to do this going forward. I just want to make sure that y'all give these runners a follow. Making sure we actually have the time to fit this in. Make sure to give Tybalt a follow. Make sure to give Kohrek a follow. Thank Alchemy, who has actually had a lot of work to do in the first 23 minutes of a seed. Quite a few buttons to push and keep track of stuff for us. And to Neobari for rolling this, fantastic little exhibition of how fast some of these flags can go. Not the usual for these at all.
The funny thing is, Possum, before we even started doing, before the race even started, we were talking earlier about a race that was like super fast and like just like this can be super fast, but we were even like bringing that up, and then all of a sudden, boom, here we are. We're literally getting that.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about a race where there was a sub-hour time, and another person who was right around just over an hour. So they can happen. It's not just a once in a million type deal. It's probably about a 1 in 25 or 30 where this type of seed can happen, where it's zoom, zoom, zoom from the start.
Yeah, and I think that's one nice thing about this flag set is like there's still a chance at complete mayhem as we're seeing right now, but there's also I think like it's a lot more consistently a decent length. It's not usually jet. It's not usually like 3 hours, but you can kind of it's usually a pretty comfortable length, even though it can be very difficult. But it's a lot more consistent. But occasionally you see something spicy like this, so here we are.
Yeah, and again, though, even with all that talk of how fast this has been, we still need an adamant. We still need a twin harp. Still no guarantee that those are going to be readily available. So it could be a faux jet, if you will, where it's like, hey, this is going to be a jet seed. Get prepped for doing all those fun things. Hey, there's vampires and Kaipo in case you want to do 1200 strats. And then it's like, oh wait, an hour later, no, just kidding. You still haven't found either of the other things you need.
Exactly. Now it's the hunt. And the thing is, the world is there. Both worlds really are there always. Like they literally have access to almost everything as soon as they get underground. And actually, here's a question for you. With this current situation, basically they are the only thing left. They've got a key item left for go mode, but it's either go to either try and find your way underground now, or head to the moon. Maybe do your grind while you're up there, get that taken care of. What do you think you'd do? Would you head to the moon first?
I think knowing that there's a sparkle, and knowing that it is not going to be plague, because plague has been seen already, I might be inclined to take either a single gold dragon fight or maybe a warlock fight or two. Just to get levels to prep for worst case scenario. Like, is it going to be, a pale dim? Is it going to be an ogo pogo? It might behoove our runners to be a little bit cautious. But if it's D-lunars, it's not so big an issue. Now, where it becomes really spicy is if it's wyvern, because then we would know that progression would be through Demist at Magus Sisters with the magma key somehow.
Oh yeah, that'd be interesting. Oh, right, because like yeah, if it was one of the things that cannot be gating the only way underground, and it can't be on the moon, then yeah, it would have to be something just bonkers, and that's
Yeah.
literally the only option I think at this point. So yeah, that'd be weird, but it
Or
could
or
happen.
or demist at King Queen Eblin, I think also can make that happen, where that would be
Yeah.
the magma key to get them underground. So there's a couple ways that demist could factor in here. So generally, Wyvern is going to be off the table for the Sparkle, which means you have Pale Dim, which is punchy and slow. You have D-Lunars, which are effectively free with a couple Star Veils with this party. And then you have Ogopogo, which is
Ogo's
not
gone.
going. Oh, that's right. Ogo's gone.
Yeah.
So this is either Pale Dim or D-Lunar then.
Right. Wait.
So
There's 5. Which is the?
can't be Wyvern.
Oh, it can't. Right.
Yeah,
It can't be.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Gotcha. Right. That makes sense. Yes.
Yeah, unless it's something crazy. Let's see who this Moon character is, though. That's a Quack Kid. Surely to be taken on, I would think.
Probably, yeah. I guess if at this point you're thinking like, hey, it's almost grind time. I've got sirens, and we're going to take on some dragons. Now's the time to get a character you're going to be just kind of throwing some levels onto. Hopefully, you get. I don't know if you'll get Nuke. You're certainly not going to be doing too much grinding. It seems like maybe actually he's headed over to the shop or to Cape Bahamut.
Yeah, value.
Yeah.
If it were Value Cave on floor 2 or 3 of Value Cave, you have gold dragons that are the siren encounter. They're the 8th encounter on the table, making them the rare encounter floor. So Value Cave actually is an easy spot to grind in if gold dragons are the method in which you want to grind.
Yeah, and obviously there's a number of options. Honestly, like if Tybalt or whomever wanted to just go over and take on the hair dryers in that one, the side room, like that wouldn't be a terrible idea either.
Oh, for sure. The hair dryers with a couple life glitches would get you upwards of 40,000 XP, which would be all the XP you'd need to get Quack on the new child. It would be all the XP you'd need for Blink on Rosa, as well as Berserk. It would go a long way, just that one encounter. But it looks like Tybalt is also opting to head underground. Gonna follow Kohrek, but is going to have that Quack Kid as an additional character.
That's right, and that's gonna make some difference if he can get those levels. It looks like he might. I'd be curious to see if Tybalt does like Kohrek is doing right now, where he's he threw the hourglass on the Mad Ogres, and he's gonna be doing the life glitch and getting some decent XP here. And honestly, like this is a good place to be stealing. You could get some Bacchus from those Mad Ogres. I don't think they've seen him in any shops yet, so that could also be really, really spicy if you grab a couple of those while you're here.
Yeah, I don't hate the idea of snagging some Bacchus. I think I would wait to do it, though, primarily because Rosa is available and in the party.
Oh, yeah, true.
So it's not as pressing a concern as normal. Also, with Twin Harp being a possibility, you can always take a Siren on the 4th floor of Cave Magnus, pull up it's a Mage, an Ogre, and a Panther fight, and you can sneak your wine from the Ogres there. They're a much lower level, and so Edge has a much higher steal chance. So with Twin Harp being on the table, that's also a possibility that our runners could do.
Oh heck, that's cool. I totally had no idea about that. That's really nice to know. That's a nice little deep cut. Yeah, that's because if you don't have to deal with the really strong ogres kind of punching the face and it's a pain in the neck, you can just go there and it's weaker and kind of do the same thing. So that's really useful to know about. I'm taking notes.
Always happy to share. It looks like we have a variant of Mylon here for Kohrek. This is the punchy variant of Mylon. Hopefully everyone has their wizard hats on in order to resist a little bit of the undead here. Otherwise, yep, there goes Yang. That's a casual 1200 to the dome.
Yeah, it's only burst for hopefully that edge stays alive, but because that's if there was a blink, this would be the time to use it, because that edge is going to be taking some serious punches if he gets hit in the front row, no less.
Yeah, he did. Kohrek did get cover off with Cecil, so this is going to buy him a little bit of time.
Oh, that's good. Okay, good.
So yeah, I think Kohrek's going to get through here. It won't be pretty, but this is about as well as that fight's going to go for 4 characters.
Totally. And thankfully, this is a pretty low HP spot. What is it? I think it's like 5K or something like that. I might be wrong on the exact number, but
Yeah, it's about 6,000 here, so
six.
probably 5 hits from this edge and this fight will end. Uh, you won't want to go, or he'll high roll for almost 2K and lop off a third of Mylon's health right away.
And there you go. Like I was saying, Tybalt, I just saw stealing a Bacchus, so he's grabbing a couple of those while he's here.
Yeah, again, don't hate the idea. Rosa does get berserk, but that is only
Yeah.
zerking one of the fighters. So if you want to let someone else loose earlier as well to get that ATB clogged, that extra Bacchus or two could do a number.
Yeah, or if you need Rosa to be casting heal or cure or blink or whatever, that'll free that up. You could have a DPS in the first position. They could just throw a Bacchus on. You don't need, it's just instant.
Definitely true.
But we're about to see who this Sparkle is.
Yeah, I for one am intrigued. I hope it's going to be Pale Dim rather than D-Lunars, just because the Lunars are free. Pale Dim is a little more punchy. Still going to be relatively free with the blinks, but a little more painful of a fight.
And there's the Pale Dim. Honestly, yeah, he's gonna be punchy here, and I don't think Rosa has blink yet. And honestly, like this is a time where blink would be tremendously useful to have. Bursk is gonna do some stuff, but Pale Dim is gonna be continuing to hit, and this is a long fight too, because not only is this fight over 20,000 HP, but every single time you do physical damage, which is all he has, you're gonna have that counter slow. So it's gonna take some sweet time getting through for both of our runners. But yeah, it's this is a good place to be able to take a couple of hits. This might even be a good place if you had like a blink, if you could cast blink on Cecil and have Cecil, everybody else be weak and he covers everybody. Like this would be free.
Well, this is free technically because whether Kohrek realizes it or not, that crystal ring that he has that he got in Damsian early on, that resists dragons. He puts that on Cecil. He lets Cecil cover everyone else. Fight is free.
Oh heck!
So I don't know who that crystal ring is on. But whomever it is on, that will make this free.
I didn't realize Crystal resists dragon. Yeah, Alchemy, I agree with you. I had no idea. Huh. I just need to like sit over here and just take notes and listen to you talk about stuff because you know way more about like little like all sorts of niche strats and like little tidbits and stuff. And I've been watching for years and have no clue.
Yeah, it's one of those things where that's one of the reasons why Crystal Ring is such a good item. Is it makes that little lunar invasion a little bit less of a problem, because two of those lunar bosses are dragons. So a lot of that kind of random wonky stuff, it can be hyper important for situations like this, where it would make, having Cecil with that crystal ring on in the back row, it would just be another fight. And you would just sit there and let Edge go berserk and just do all the damage with absolutely no worry whatsoever. Again, don't know who that crystal ring's on. Whoever it's on, they're probably perfectly safe here. But it's one of those interesting things.
It doesn't look like it's Cecil only because I've seen him take hits in the back row for 300 and something. But it looks like Tybalt might have put him on Cecil because Cecil is taking hits for 1 damage from Mylon Z right now. And so the way he was punching earlier, I'm guessing that's a crystal ring.
It could also be a wizard hat. Because Wizard Hat does have that undead resistance as well. So it's it'll be interesting to see based on the equipment and everything, who has what on, and who gets through what faster. We also see, part of the aggressive play that Kohrek is making here. This is a 4-character hook route from him. That's not something you see very often on this flag set either. That he's just going for it.
Yeah, 4 character and no magic. Like that's spicy because like a lot of stuff in here, it helps having that quake. That's so much damage that you just don't have if you don't have a black mage. And the Pale Dim is crumbling, so underground access, here we come. Kohrek is in the lead, taking the first trip down under for our team, for our race here.
Yeah, I would say air quotes in the lead, and the reason I say that is because Tybalt has already been to the moon to do that check. He has also taken a fight to get Edward on Hobbs. So while they have done most of the same stuff, there's a couple ancillary things Tybalt has done. So Kohrek, yes, is underground first, but has a couple of checks kind of waiting in the wings. And we see either Ruby or Elements up on
Elements. We've
top of
seen Ruby.
tower. We've seen Ruby, yeah, so that's Elements up on top of tower. And that Ice Claw, if Kohrek has, I know that Tybalt has it, but that Ice Claw, that could be very big in that fight as well.
Oh yeah, totally. I forget because yeah, obviously Ruby is like gonna get totally crumpled by that Ice Claw. I forget that all the resistances are totally borked in that fight. That like I'm just confused. Like I feel like I just need to reread everything because like I think Val is super weak to Holy and like there's just all sorts of bonker stuff because of the way they coded it.
I just kind of remember like Val is weak to everything. So take all the individual resistances from the prior 3, put them all together and make Val weak to everything.
Oh wow. Okay, yeah, there you go. But obviously, how often is it that you actually see that Val? Not too often.
Yeah, hopefully never.
Hopefully never. Right, exactly. If you're seeing it, like I guess hopefully you're still like decently alive because now you can finish the end off pretty quick.
But looks like well, there's a random samurai bow in the chest for Kohrek. That's always nice. But looks like Tybalt making his way through this pale dim now, and oh hey, there's a Bahamut for Little Miss not seen in the seed yet.
Yeah, I'm sure that non-existent summoner is extremely happy about that. We just saw coffins on Kohrek's side. That's also kind of nice to have. That's makes a couple of bosses free. I mean, obviously at this point, if you're going to be doing gold dragons potentially for your grind, you don't really need them. But honestly, this would be a good. Actually, if you grab a couple of those, the warlocks become a lot more interesting because you can coffin them and make those fights real quick.
Yeah, the other thing in particular for Kohrek's party is the coffins do something that no one on his team can do, and that is magic. Effectively
right.
casting Fatal. Tybalt has the Quack Kit, who will get access to all of these things at some point. Soon TM, if you will. But that's not something that Kohrek has access to. One thing Kohrek does have access to is a 50-50 shot at either being really happy or a 50-50 shot at being really sad, depending on who this blue robe at Asura is.
Yeah, hoping that blue robe is not actually a number of blue robes all on top of each other, because that would be the gauntlet, and you'd have to fight a whole bunch of enemies and a bunch of rounds of enemies. So yeah, definitely not hoping for that, but or it could be the freest, maybe the freest boss, well, the second freest boss in the game, because obviously King Queen in Water Hag, although also a not unpunchy spot. Like that could actually do a little bit of damage, but if you have a Crystal Ring Cecil in the back row, that's free. And there's a Water Hag.
Nice. So that's good for Kohrek. Now he did set up actually, even if it had been the alt gauntlet, he had put the mute arrows on with the Artie bow, put the crystal ring on to give his Cecil extra agility. He may have actually been able to get the shots off on the conjurers to one-hit them before they even got to summon, based on how he was set up. So he was well prepared for either fight here. So very heads up on his preparation for this.
Yeah, that's tremendous. I guess the only thing is this is right, conjure, right? Because then you don't get the arachnid or whatever those the spider people. Yeah, you don't want those because then the quake happens. You're not going to survive that.
Yeah,
and a life staff.
Womp womp. I mean, at least it's quick. Probably your opponent's going to take that fight as well.
Yeah. Totally.
The thing is, does your opponent have a way to want to take on that next fight? In Kohrek's case, he doesn't have a way to really safely take it on. In Tybalt's case, I still wouldn't want to mess with that elf yet. So I think exiting out here is the prudent play.
Yeah, I'm trying to you would have to come up with strategies to be able to take advantage of the removed boss bit. I think on the second phase, or a party without decent magic utility is going to be a real pain in the neck against a night elf of that speed and HP and power. Yeah,
I mean you can hourglass it, which is great, but then you still have to chew through 35,000 health.
Right. But that's right. I forgot hourglass on the second form too. Yeah, so you can totally do that. But you got to get there, obviously, which is still a whole thing.
Silkweb and Tomra. We've seen vampires. I don't know if we've seen Starveils or Cure 3s yet. I'm still thinking game plan for 1200 strats for our runners. things for them to be looking out for, of course.
Yeah, totally. It's not a yeah. It's actually honestly, given where they're at right now, that's not a terrible idea. Because well, assuming you get as you said, assuming you can get easy access to the vampires, well, Starveils. I don't know if those are. I think Starveils are always available. I'm not sure about vampires though.
Yeah, Star Veils will always be guaranteed because the beast, excuse me, I can't remember the flag for it, honestly. I'm terrible with the flags. I know that Star Veils are guaranteed because it's not unsafe. So they will be somewhere on the overworld along with Cure 2s. Vampires are not guaranteed. Cure 3s, I don't believe, are guaranteed.
What is? I think it's S unsafe, right? And that one makes it so that you might not get life potions and stuff like that.
Right. I think Cure 2's life potions and Star Veils are the three that are guaranteed as long as the unsafe flags are off. And
Gotcha.
oh, hey, here's a sparkle. Let's see who's awaiting Kohrek at Dwarf Castle spot
You got
number
two
1.
other options. It's D Lunars. Okay, so
Right.
Wyvern is the odd one out here. So the next Sparkle we might see is definitely going to be Wyvern. It's going to be hopefully in a gross spot.
And to answer a question from chat, what is Yang's agility with Tybalt keeping him permanently dead? I believe Yang is at 8 agility to start, which means that all you need is 21 agility total in order to get your party to relative agility 1. So 8 is actually a very good number for agility if you don't have like Iridia available at 4. His agility is effectively the same as what Tello would be.
Yeah, and that's a great start. Even if you don't have a cursed ring, like as long as you get a couple levels on everybody, you should be able to get that relative agility 1 by you just what do you need to like triple the agility? Is that how it works?
General rule of thumb is 2.5 plus
2.5.
1. So if your anchor has 8, you want 21. If your anchor has 10, you want 26. If your
Gotcha.
anchor has 4, you want 11. So basically, you want 2.5 plus 1. Sorry, y'all, math on stream. I know we promised there would be no math, but this is kind of the thing that comes up every so often.
Hey, math is my vocation. Math is my life. I'm here for math. Let's talk math.
What's the mathematical probability of Tybalt making the right play by going in the back way through Dwarf Castle here?
A full moon, so 100%.
100%, absolutely. full moon. Well done, Tybalt. Well done.
And then there's a full moon in the shop anyway, so whatever.
Of course it is.
Amazing.
Well played, Seed. Well played.
But yeah, that's the back row glitch for Edge. As long as you put that in his right hand, you will back row him, and he can be in back and do regular damage to everybody, and also can do regular damage to enemies in the back. So that's permanent. So that's super helpful for Edge. He's doing some real damage right now. He's definitely the most powerful player on the team. So having him not take nearly as much damage anymore is going to be incredibly useful because his defense is not awesome.
Yeah, that's definitely the case. His defense is lacking. It's oddly enough, Edge is great for Zeromus on defense with a ninja shirt because it's got super high magic resistance. Otherwise, Edge has to rely on samurai equipment, which is like the third best that Cecil would get to wear. So it's not exactly the top tier type stuff.
Something actually is interesting here, and I saw Alchemy say something. Who's going to check Sheila 1? Honestly, a good question for both these runners is, at least in my opinion, I don't know. It seems interesting that they're going and doing this dwarf check before doing either the 2 tower checks or doing Sheila 1. I feel like there's some lucrative stuff that they can get more quickly with more key item stuff to check than this.
Yeah, in Kohrek's case, I get it because he has not yet picked up a full party.
Oh yeah, true. Right.
And this is going to be a little bit more XP for him. Pending he gets through this is starting to look a little dicey. And this is where if Wake is on that Palom for Tybalt, this is going to be huge in order to get through this. I think he might be just shy, but I certainly get it from Kohrek's perspective. He's hard playing into the fact that Moon character is not basically Fusoya, and thinking he can just power through everything else. So
Hopefully, he hasn't also forgotten. I don't know. I mean, that's something that I might do anyway. But yeah. But we got a frog. We got a frog skeleton dragon thing now, so it's pretty much free at this point.
yeah, it looks like we may get a couple of frogs on Tybalt's side, and yep, double. So we have three lunar frogs hanging out in the castle today.
I'm seeing
not
double,
some-
6 frogs.
Not something you get to see every day for sure.
Definitely, gotta love the frog stereo.
But this is what I was talking about earlier, where, as they were going down the hook route, as Kohrek was gaining a little bit of a lead time-wise, referencing those other checks that Tybalt had made, having that Quack Kid here is a big deal. That's going to be a lot of extra burst damage. Having, that edge chugging along, having just that extra, bit of leveling that Tybalt's done. Yes, he was behind, but he's closing that gap rapidly and has done some extra checks. So it's going to be interesting to see if Kohrek can keep pace now that Tybalt has caught up.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a really good question, because and there, I guess that was a Cecil, so now there's a second Cecil, which is useful, except that you don't really have anything to equip to him at this point, I don't think.
Still a legend sword, thank you very much.
Oh, right. Sorry. I keep forgetting. I guess there's a bow and arrow and an ice brand at this point, so it's something.
This is not actually the worst situation to turn second Cecil into an anchor. If you give him a drain sword, it drops him to 8 agility. Again, we know 8 is a good number because that's where Tella is, that's where Yang is. Now, late game, this is going to be a very interesting point of discussion. We see Kohrek with double Cecil. We see Tybalt with single Cecil and Palin. The mid game will be a lot faster for Tybalt with Quake. The end game, if some big swords are found, could be a lot faster for Kohrek. So this will be a very interesting point of discussion going forward in the seed.
That's true. Yeah, it's going to be very curious.
And to mention something from chat, Cecil versus Cecil, I have no idea what the pronunciation is. Yang versus Yang, Rydia versus Rydia. Pronounce them however you want. We're still going to love y'all the same.
Right. It's not like we could hear it when we were kids. We were reading it in our heads and what our friends said and stuff, so whatever. I don't think it matters too terribly. They're not actually real people either.
It does look like a package is attained from the dwarf castle, so be interested to see as well. Does anyone go play around with that package? Do they take a look and maybe try to spike a Fusoya? Or, would there be any other character they would want at this point other than Fu?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Probably not. I don't think they have any gear that would constitute any other useful player. I don't think here. I mean, I'm not sure. One thing that is curious, though, I think you were mentioning keeping the second Cecil down as possibly an anchor. I actually am curious. I don't know if Kohrek is going to be picking someone else up to make an anchor, but nobody has been. Everybody's been gaining levels and stuff. And the second Cecil got the levels off the Bahamut. So, I'd be curious to see what exactly happens there in terms of the agility and the anchoring situation. Does he go get another character? Does he try and get a 28 agility kind of situation? Like there's, a few different options, but he's not taking sort of the traditional route of just having an agility anchor kind of holding everything in place.
Yeah, the no traditional agility anchor won't really be an issue won't be an issue short term, unless Wyvern decides to show up and be very rude. But long term, for like the Zeromus fight, could be an issue that
High X-Cal.
Well, Tybalt has a nice little thing from playing with Trap Chest now. So that Cecil's going to go burr.
One of my primary rules of this seed at this point has been always check the first chest and tower, because I keep getting crystal swords, and now there's an X-Cal. I feel like it's so lucrative and it's so fast, especially if you have like a Thunder Claw and a Yang or something like that. Like you can one-shot those things and instantly get potential access to a tier 7 item. Sometimes it's just kind of spicy to just kind of run in and hit one of them because it's maybe an extra 15 seconds out of your way.
Yeah, if you can one-shot him with like an Earthhammer Sid, a Thunderclaw Edge, or Yang, definitely can have a huge impact. This is one of those things where, as good as Ninja Edge has been for this entire seed, there's this thing called Cecil, and Cecil has all the shiniest swords in the game, and Cecil goes burr. And yeah, there's a reason we say Cecil goes burr. He's gonna be your primary focus now. Edge has done great things, and yeah, that's about to be that.
Yeah, Edge MVP of the first half of the seed, no question.
Yeah.
Cecil will now become MVP of the second half, no question. I think, because that's obviously since we don't have Forge yet to get an XCal, finding that XCal, that's the second strongest weapon in the game for Cecil, and maybe for anybody, because it's also super powerful. Like, he's still going to be crumpling a lot of enemies with this. Although obviously right now with that Rumsey, he's not doing particularly a lot of damage to elements. I'm not sure. Is that first element's not weak to Holy?
I believe it is actually strong against Holy in the first form.
Okay, that would explain the 400 damage attacks he was getting. And there's a Sand Ruby behind this. So
that's a cane.
That's a cane. Yeah.
Yep.
I don't think anybody's going to be taking that cane unless it's an agility anchor or something. We got plenty of melee going on. I think we're good. But still, that's another key item. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 key items. So 2 more, and it will be even faster leveling.
Oh, and we get to see the second half of Elements. Something we love to see, but Tybalt probably not terribly happy to see it.
Yeah, oof. Now you got to deal with a lot more. How does it work? It's like it has a refill kind of like Zeromus does, right?
Yes. I think the first half of the fight generally has, I want to say it's 55% of the health, and the second half has 45%.
So what basically you need to, where does the refill hit? How far do you need to get in to make that flip instead of just getting the insta-kill?
Ideally, you want that insta-kill as you were talking about, but if you get to about the 50% mark, it flips.
Gotcha.
The general kind of rule of thumb on it.
So if you have it's interesting, because unlike Zeromus, who has a static set of HP, you actually have to kind of pay attention, because depending on where that fight is, if you want to be able to dodge that refill, you have to kind of know what around half is in terms of the HP at any given spot to be able to surpass that.
Yeah, for example, that spot, the Dr. Luge spot, is about 22,000, I want to say. So that might be about maybe 10,000 to get it dead halfway without a refill, but you'd have to go from 7,500 to 10,000 and not have a hit land in between there to get the kill. It's really wonky how the numbers tip.
Yeah, I mean, I think the best way to be able to kind of make that happen would have been to get to 7,000. Then you get Edge to hurl something that's going to do some damage. I don't know what he has available, but
well, he has an XCal.
Oh right, well yeah, right. If you throw the XCal instead of using it, I guess there's that.
Yeah, probably not the best way to use the XCal, but it's a thought.
Best isn't hilarious, but yeah, not as in actually good.
And to answer a question from chat, there are random encounters if our runners want random encounters. Oh, hey, there's a pan, by the way. So doing tower possibly
and
better.
Shield 1 hasn't been checked either, so this is 3 checks.
Yeah, this is all of the checks happening at once. But yeah, the encounters are able to be turned on and off. And so our runners don't have to worry about being surprised or back attacked or anything like that, unless they choose to have encounters turned on. And this is of their own volition. However they want to go about doing it, they can do it. They can take encounters in the Sylph Cave. They could take encounters on the Overworld. They could choose to never take random encounters. So it's completely up to them how they want to go about it, if they ever want to turn that on at all.
Yeah, as quality of life improvements that Free Enterprise has brought over the original Final Fantasy go, I would say number one, best one is speed running. I don't think it's even close. The ability to be able to run the whole way and fast. But the number 2 would be turning encounters off, and you can actually kind of sprint through dungeons, and it's actually pretty awesome. And we get a dragon whip from the Sylphs. So
well, let me tell you, that Rydia would be both an offensive attacker and a Bahamut summoning machine right now if she existed.
Yeah, she'd be a juggernaut at this point. I think we might have even found a tiara someplace. I'm not sure.
At least Rosa can wear that.
That's true. That is true. Yeah, yeah. It's actually Rosa. It loves that because it's great magic defense and stuff. So
But by virtue of actually getting that refill skip on elements, Kohrek has pulled ahead again by what is maybe 30 seconds. Again, has a couple of those little checks floating out there, the Moon character check, as well as the Hobbs check. He may very well be saving that Eddie as an anchor, just saying, oh, I know at 9 agility, which is what Edward starts at, he's going to be perfectly fine for my endgame party. So it may not be caring about agility whatsoever
that makes sense.
For that reason.
Yeah, if you can just have you can just leave your anchor sitting someplace you don't need to go. There's nothing key item gated behind it. There's no mist dragon or whatever. You can just kind of leave it there. You can go up and blow everything up. You don't have to worry about, unless you have some nasty fights to do, you can kind of, don't worry about agility anchoring for a while. And then, you can take out one of the characters that's not doing a lot and replace them with the fresh character that hasn't been leveled. And boom, you're good to go with that anchor.
Looks like Tybalt may be opting to crack an egg or two here. Is he at 10 key items or still 9? Because this is a curious play at 9.
Go mode. Sheila 2, baby.
Yep.
Twin Harp.
There's Twin Harp.
What's the moon? Haunted.
Not necessarily.
Well, not literally haunted.
But for all intents and purposes, haunted.
It's at least, can be made haunted or can be not used for sure, because that's literally what Kohrek's going to be doing. He's just going to be running through and taking on maybe some whatever, grind and Z time. So it's going to be a real quick fight, or a real quick seed. Like, we're at 58 minutes here, and literally it's it's the harp speed through, get the music, and then go to the moon and the grind and the Z. So that's super fast. And we got a Masamune too. That Hanzo steal is not something that Edge is going to be too upset about grabbing here.
For sure. I wonder if the reason that Tybalt is taking encounters here is to go take on that Dark Elf in the Fame Arch.
That's kind of what I was wondering too, right? You need that. You want that a little bit of extra damage there just to kind of be able to punch through it a little bit, maybe a little bit more better defense and stuff.
He may very well have just been doing a couple sirens there. Maybe he's thinking if Sheila doesn't pay out, he has to go to the moon. Might have been doing some prep work while already underground. The Excal is still going to play a big difference in how the rest of the seed finishes out. Masamune Ninja Edge is great. Don't get me wrong. But Excal Cecil versus Ogreax Cecil.
Yeah,
boy,
that's tremendous.
Is that a big difference?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. That's probably one of the reasons why the tier 7, max tier 6 for non monster boxes is kind of put in place, because these items can kind of totally be a game changer. Totally make the whole game different, like flip things on its head almost. And so you don't want that just kind of lying around in some random chest somewhere, and all of a sudden everything's different. But still, you go do a couple of chests in tower, and you can get really lucrative stuff. It can be worth it. It's not always worth it. It's tough, but I think it can be a smart strategy if you want just a little extra power. You can kind of get through it quickly.
Oh, for sure. I absolutely agree with that. So just as Tybalt is about to start getting to the Dark Elf, to the Twin Harp location, Cave Magnus, Kohrek is entering the fight. So there right now is the difference of a walk through the Magnus Cave. That is what's separating the runners. And the big question is the Excal strong enough to catch Tybalt up from a Cave Magnus walk? That's going to be huge. I'm so excited to see how this one finishes out.
Yeah, and I mean, the other thing is, there's an extra DPS over on Kohrek's side, right? Yes. There's the 2 Cecils. That's what it is. So
that second Cecil is hurting though for gear.
Yeah, no, he is. And you don't get Forge, unfortunately. Anyway, we have some tunes from DJ Spoony B. I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. Listen.
Same here. Enjoy.
All right, well, I hope you enjoyed that rendition because you're going to get an immediate encore. But I will probably be talking over that. Sorry, but Kohrek, making quick work of those dark imps, and we are going into go mode. Possum, if you're talking, you're muted.
Oh, I'm just enjoying the tunes.
Okay, just checking. Sorry. It's gorgeous. I mean, everything Yasunori Mitsuda is just nonstop amazing. And this is no exception. I love the slow songs he does that are like music box songs. There's some in Xenogears and Chrono Trigger, and it just like stops your heart when you listen to it. It's so good.
Yeah, our runners are definitely enjoying the brief reprieve from the assault on speed that they've had to deal with so far.
Yeah, hopefully that lowered their blood pressure just a little bit. It'll make the rest of this fight, the rest of this seed a little bit maybe less jarring. And Tybalt making some good work with those coffins, kind of getting through that fight a little bit faster. That's nice.
Yeah, the coffins are good. I'm a little curious on the life glitches though, especially with the sirens available and grinding and such. I wonder if the time it takes to get what's going to be about a 1500 or 2000 XP difference, if that is going to make a difference or not.
Yeah, I doubt it. I mean, my inclination might be that maybe it was just reflex, because I certainly have felt that before, where I'm just like life glitching like a junk fight, and I'm like, why do I even need to do this? I'm like in go mode almost. I'm like done leveling. But yeah, you're not going to get much out of that one.
Yeah, it looks like we have 1 minute and 35 seconds difference from when our runners got the crystal there. I was just doing the math again myself. Sorry, y'all. So we will see again. Can Excal Cecil make up 1 minute and 35 seconds? That's going to be the big question.
That's really the primary difference here. Palam's not probably going to be trivial in the Z fight. I'm guessing both of them are just going to be swinging stuff at Z, just because like if you're throwing spells in there, unless you want to get Palam up to nuke, that seems kind of unnecessary. So having this ability to just kind of go up there and swing your stuff, that Palam's not going to make much difference. It's really, yeah, like you said, it's the difference in items. It's the difference in gear is literally that Excal. So that's a powerful weapon, but we're talking 1.5 minutes here, and that might not be enough. But it also might make those dragons a little faster if they're grinding dragons or whatever they're swinging at, right? Like that will go down faster with that Excal. So that's going to make some difference too.
Yeah, and it looks like Tybalt also opting for a silk web steel. That is definitely a nice item. But when you have Zerkers just going to town, and especially, we're talking Masamune Ninja, and we're talking Excal Cecil, that's the time to take that silk web. I don't know. Those are going to be big hits coming in. I'm not certain that you need the silk web in this case. That's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. That's good. I agree with you. I don't think it would matter in this specific grouping. I think there's certain places where you'd absolutely need that silk web, but like you've got your healing down pat. You're gonna have good HP. Like you're not gonna have to worry about like things being a little bit nail biter. And I think that's what would make that more important.
Yeah, the big thing would be, you'd want that silk web or some sort of source of slow. If you're planning on going in like right now, like if Tybalt says, I'm not gonna grind at all, if he just says, I'm going, and I'm going to nerf the big bangs.
Oh, heck. So Tybalt has definitely made a lot of ground just getting to the moon. I think Kohrek might have been doing a little bit of shopping and stuff, but oh yeah, and also just he had to wait for the Palom. Like even
Right,
that was
the
just
cutscene.
yeah, it was like another 20 seconds that Tybalt was able to catch up because Tybalt had already done it. So yeah, I think it looks like Chad is saying 20-second difference heading into the lunar subterrane. So this is going to be a nail biter. This is going to be down to the wire. Get your popcorn.
And looks like Tybalt opting for some warlocks, Kohrek opting for some gold dragons. You're looking at about 180k with a life glitch on the dragons. You are looking at, I think it's 173,600 if I remember right, if you can get life glitches on both of the warlocks with 10 key items. So they're effectively similar. Again, it's going to be very interesting.
I feel like it could come down to just how fast they can get through these fights with their compositions. I'm actually kind of surprised that I don't know if Tybalt doesn't have any more coffins, but this would be a great time to be utilizing coffins, and this would make these warlock fights way faster than those dragon fights, and that could be a huge difference. But I don't know if he's really making that much time up on this, and if the XP is going to be, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if this is a better play here, or if Kohrek, who's kind of going through those King Ryus like pretty fast, is going to be getting faster XP and faster levels and getting to Z quicker.
Yeah, and then there's the whole thing of what is Kohrek's agility situation going to look like for Zeromus? Is he going to go with a 28 agility anchor in Cecil or Rosa? Is he going to go with a 42 with Edge? What's his decision going to be for that Zeromus anchor? We know that Tybalt has the traditional anchoring setup of just one character who's been on the ground, who is a dedicated anchor. But where's the agility anchor situation going to land for Kohrek is a big question.
Yeah, I think what you really hope for here, if you want like agility, kind of, if you're not worried, if I mean, you could just power overwhelming and be like, to heck with agility and just kind of blow through stuff, which I think would be the wrong play right this second. But I think that gosh, what was I gonna say? Heck.
What I do know is that particular warlock fight did not go the way that Tybalt wanted.
Yeah, you lost a couple of players. I think Palom and Cecil were the only ones that got levels out of that,
Yeah.
and that's not what you want. I guarantee he wanted Scala, aka Rosa, or Rosa, aka Scala, to get those levels there, and so she didn't get she's still at 1675. He probably wants to get her up to surviving an unnerved Big Bang, most likely type of level and HP.
Yeah. The issue is, and this is something, as a takeaway for all runners, not just Tybalt in this case, that crystal ring or a ninja hat, even the Artemis bow, anything to get Rosa to be the first acting character to get the mutes off if you don't have the mute bells would effectively make this warlock grind way easier. So that RD bow in particular that Rosa could put on would get her to RA1 over that Yang who's at just 8 agility. That would allow her to get the mute off, and that would make the warlocks effectively free. So that's something as a takeaway, not just for Tybalt, but for all of those looking to do warlock grinds, is if you have any way at all to manipulate your agility, this is the prime type of situation for it.
Well, if Tybalt just tried to do a double life glitch on that warlock and the warlock didn't die, it only had 450 HP left. So that bites.
Yeah, that's not how he wanted that to go for sure.
Yeah, the grind is not going in his favor here. This is, it's definitely going to be kind of, I think Kohrek is going to get more into the lead at this point. Although I don't know how much more Tybalt's going to be leveling. This might be enough, but it's tough to say. Like, did Kohrek actually gain ground on that? He might have, but I don't know what Tybalt's comfortable doing Z fights at. Like, some of this is just kind of comfort level. Sometimes depending on who you are and what you're playing with, you want to get comfortable where your Rose is kind of hanging at like 2200 HP. Like, you're probably going to survive an unnerved Big Bang. Sometimes you want to play a little bit tighter, or you want to, or it's a close one. You gotta kind of play a little bit spicier. and so survivability is a little tougher. You might have to nerf big bangs the whole way through, all that kind of stuff, and it just depends on the racer a lot of the time what works best for them.
That's a very good point. And chat pointing out something also that if Charm Claw was the default equipment for Yang, he's actually at 11 agility, not 8. And that could be making a huge difference here also.
Oh, heck. That's interesting.
Yeah, because that Charm Claw gives +3 agility. So not only is it actively bad for accuracy, it could be actively messing with the agility situation for Tybalt here.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that having agility on it, of course, right.
And the ninja hat that's on Edge, that's great and all, but again, that ninja hat is something that could have gone on Rosa, could even go on Cecil. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out. Kohrek making the descent, going
Tybalt
down,
right behind him.
And yeah, Tybalt not too far behind. So this again is simply a matter of, can the Excal make up the difference? The grind did not go Tybalt's way.
Yeah, I'd say the difference now between them is like a minute or so. Like it's definitely, Kohrek definitely got more ground on Tybalt. I'd say it's about a minute difference, but looks like we're about to get some fight here, and of course everybody's got their Z flags out because everybody's ready for the excitement. What is the excitement?
Well, I think the excitement is that there is a particular time of the day when taking a nap is really good. And right when the sun goes down, I get a little sleepy, and oh wait, no, just kidding. There's a fight to be had. There's this thing called Zeromus in this game, the big bad final boss. It's too big, too bad, too mean to put anywhere else. And so we have a question to ask. And that question is, whose Tookus are our runners going to torch tonight?
Ooh, spicy. Got the alliteration and everything. I love it.
I like
10 out of 10.
Thank you. So about a 30-second difference going into this fight. Do not take your eyes off the screen, folks. This is going to be super exciting. Kohrek has the levels. Tybalt has the Excal.
Ooh, is that some Warhammer? Warhammer 40k, I mean. I think, is that what that is? I can't, it's some sort of mech suit thing. That's a Gundam. I'm sorry. My bad.
I didn't know either, so I was going to let you ramble till chat got us there.
Hey, there you go. It looks kind of like there's like these mech suit dudes in Warhammer 40k. That's why I got mixed up.
So it is a 42-second difference, according to chat right now, getting into this fight.
And given that I don't know if Kohrek got Bacchus, so Bacchus kind of throwing those out quickly, and you get the burst off. I mean, this is going to be a quick start for both of them. I don't know if 40 seconds is enough that you can make up, even if you've got an Excal. That's a lot to ask,
Yeah, it'll be. It's going to be close.
Yeah, it's a nail biter. Hold on to your butts.
That edge needs to stay up for Kohrek, though.
Just barely. Just barely.
That is the most important 180 damage that you might see this tournament.
Yeah, right. Because if that edge is done, that's he's burst. He's doing the most damage. Anybody in that party, you lose him, you lose a lot of time.
Yeah. Oh, we have Artemis Bow Palom chipping in on Tybalt's side because he did not get nuke. He's more comfortable letting the kid go burr instead of having him reflect level 3 spells.
Although I don't know if sub 1,000 damage is really that worth it.
It doesn't hurt because otherwise Palom is doing nothing. He's not even clogging the queue. So I don't hate it. I think the queue jamming, as those millions pointing out, is important.
That's a tremendously good point. You're gonna see it's gonna take a lot longer to see Zeromus get actions off, get to the next big bang. You're gonna be taking a lot of actions in there. And again, you don't have a menu pop up you have to deal with. It slows things down too. So that makes sense.
Yeah, we have both runners plugging away. I haven't seen a tip either way, and that just might be because I had shifted focus over from Kohrek to Tybalt. but I'm guessing based on the amount of time since Shake's on Kohrek's side, that there must have been a tip. The question is, can he avoid the combo platter, which is the Big Bang into Black Hole? And that's a big question for both runners, because only Yang will survive on Kohrek's side. Tybalt does not have anyone most likely who survives a combo platter.
Yeah, no way. Yeah, you get that. You get the Big Bang to rocks, you're in trouble. Every time I see a rumble, I'm like, because I have it muted so I don't hear myself talking, but I keep thinking, is that the rumble? So
yeah, it's close.
My heart is beating. Let me tell you what, this is exciting.
How do you think our runners feel?
I can't imagine.
Felt 15 minutes ago. Yeah.
Yes.
So there's a Big Bang. The unnerfed Big Bang, not as big a deal for Kohrek because of the HP and the levels. Unnerfed Big Bang, much scarier for Tybalt.
Yeah, tremendously. Rosa might survive an unnerved, and probably Edge. Well, Edge might. Cecil will, but that might be it. Ooh, low roll I think there, but yeah, you got 3 still up. Only lost that Palom, so that's really good. Really good. Saved his butt.
There's
and
rocks
we got rocks
on
Kohrek's side.
So Kohrek is definitely ahead. Black Hole on Tybalt did not have the damage to push straight through.
And we get the crumble.
There it is. GG Kohrek. What a race.
Heck, Kohrek. And we get rocks on Tybalt's side.
Wow.
How fast is that? Amazing.
So even
there we
with
go.
all of those levels,
both
extra.
crumbling on screen. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. 27 seconds. And
That's
we are
our
joined
stopper.
by Kohrek and Tybalt. GG's to both of you. What a race.
GG.
Yeah, wow. Gotta say, this has been a heck of a show for us. So yeah, thank you so much. It's amazing for all of us to watch. I know that your hearts have probably been like in your throat. I can understand. But yeah, this has been exciting. So like, the pressure must have been on when you saw that darkness crystal, because you're probably thinking, well, I can go basically anywhere. Like, what were you thinking? Like, were you thinking like, should I try and do underground? Should I go up and blow up the moon? Like, were you kind of weighing those options, and underground seemed like the most lucrative?
For me, I just felt like just going through with the hook route was a safer play. And I did, first game of the tournament, I didn't want to be making big gambles yet. I don't know. That's just my thought process there.
For me, it was going to check the moon for possible foo, maybe another edge, and finding the quack kit up there was decently nice, because I figured at least having some form of black magic on the team, if I had to go down Luca Cave or even to do some grinds, having Quake, Warp, and Virus on your team is quite nice. So that's the reason why I took the Palom from the moon. And could have made a better choice, but.
So something we were talking about beforehand is I believe the starting item for Yang is is it the Charm Claw? Is that what you're saying, Possum?
I believe so, and that would have given the +3 agility that may have thrown off the anchoring we were talking about for you, Tybalt. We were curious if that was the case.
I'm actually going to check right now. I think it is actually still equipped on him too. Yeah, Charm Claw.
Yeah, we were worried about it specifically for the Warlocks, because we were trying to figure out, like, why is your party not RA1? And chat had actually caught this, so very good kudos to chat for catching that. But we saw 2 totally different anchoring approaches from y'all. Kohrek going with what I believe was a 28 agility anchor and just a ton of Zerks. And Tybalt, you were going with, or attempting to go with the just relative agility 1 party based off of a center anchor. Kohrek first and then Tybalt after. Kind of take us through what your decisions were, why you decided to go with the agility setup that you went with.
Honestly, I think I was a bit late in deciding to go with the RA2, but because I kept looking for cursed rings in the shop that I hadn't checked yet at the end. But I think I should have just committed to it earlier based on my party. Cecil always kind of settles in right there at 28, 29 when he's at the right level. So I just there was no other anchor. briefly considered grabbing Palom on the way down, but it just seemed like I had good enough weapons on my 4 Zerkers, so I was just going to go with that.
Makes sense.
So how you both of you have probably done a lot of practice seeds before this. Have either of you done anything this jetty, and like were you like how prepared were you for it? I mean, obviously both of you have raced a lot beforehand, but like did you feel like you kind of had to switch scripts and kind of, you know, work with old strats and different mechanics and stuff to kind of make it through this, or did you feel pretty comfortable with the practice that you've done and just kind of being able to go with it right away?
I felt pretty practiced. I've had a few jetty seeds. I think the fastest one I've had is like an hour 2. So I mean, rando's gonna rando. You never know what you're gonna find, but even with the practice seeds, you can have them range from anywhere. Really, so you just gotta kind of just gather all your knowledge that you have from your practice and bring it with you, and just pick and poke what you need.
Yeah, for me, I honestly feel a little bit under practice now. You know, last year when we were doing the Bull Gauntlet, I was probably like maybe the most over practiced for that tournament because I had just gotten into Free Enterprise and I was doing like 2 to 3 seeds every single day. So like I think it's like I have that base that I'm just trying to draw back from, and I'm getting it back, but I still feel a little bit rusty right now.
It didn't really show in your race, though. Honestly, like that was a pretty excellent, almost flawless race. Like there were very few qualms I think anybody'd have watching this, and and you had a great time, and you managed to punch it all the way through, and that was awesome. I mean, this has been one of the best races I've ever commentated for. It's been super exciting. I don't know about you, Possum, but you know the speed at which you got those key items early on. Obviously, it slowed down a little bit mid game, but you know. How do you keep yourself from like going overboard like nerves and stuff? This may be a question almost to help me because I get nervous as heck, but like the nerves must have been hitting, right?
Oh yeah, at least for me, I know the nerves are hitting, especially when I'm going. You know, I've got go mode. You know, when with that moment when you get go mode, you're like, I'm in go mode. I need to just go. I need to figure out 3 steps ahead of what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go here, here, and here, and you just concentrate on those steps and what you're gonna do, and that kind of removes the nerves a little bit.
Yeah, I sometimes get some pretty significant nerves. I mean, I've raced a lot with randomizers. I've probably been restreamed well over 100 times in all of randomizers at this point. So, but I still get nervous. But for this race, I don't know. I was kind of just like in the groove. It was very nice. I'm not always that way, trust me. But I don't know. For this one, I was just enjoying myself and having a good time.
That's amazing. Well, we all had a great time too, because this has been amazing, and y'all are going on to play next week. Any thoughts going in after you've done this one race and preparation for next week, and kind of where you're feeling with the seed, with the flag set?
I would go ahead, Kohrek.
So I haven't been playing a lot of Free Enterprise recently, but when this tournament was announced, I looked at the flag set and I really like it. I think it's a fun flag set. It definitely this might be more of an exception, but it tends to have longer seeds and a lot of different things can happen. Basically no D machine grind. That's off the table. It's just a really neat, interesting flag set. So I was really happy for it, and Swiss is interesting. You win and it gets harder. You lose and it gets easier. So it's really hard to win them all in a Swiss format. But just look ahead. I'm sure there'll be great opponents on both sides of the win-loss column in next week's race, and we'll just keep going.
I mean, listen, if you lost, you might have to face off against me. Like, talk about a nightmare fight there. Yeah, no. But Possum, you might have to face Possum, so that's a thing.
Yeah, there's some other dangerous names out there too.
Oh, no doubt. There have been some great matchups already, and so one of them had to lose. So you got to face them someplace. So yeah, second week could be just as spicy as week 1 in terms of really, really nasty matchups.
Yeah, but it was an absolute blast to watch y'all race this. The execution, the performance, while there were maybe some minor hiccups here and there, overall, incredibly well run. It was a joy to watch, a joy to commentate. Y'all both did an amazing job. This is probably one of, if not up there, by the time this whole tournament is over. This is going to be one of those races to watch and races to remember. Like, this was just such a close battle from start to finish. So, absolute pleasure to watch y'all, and thank you so much for running it the way y'all did.
Yeah, thank you.
No problem. It's always a pleasure to race, and Kohrek, hopefully we may end up getting into the brackets, and hopefully we face against each other again.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. And I do want to take a second to say, thank everybody for putting on the restream. It's such a wonderful community, and just keep doing what you're doing out there, the volunteers.
Yeah,
Well, of
likewise. And it goes both ways. Thank you both for putting on the race, putting on the show. That it's you're part of this too. We can't run anything without you. So thank you as well. It's been amazing.
Any other questions?
I think we're about done. Any last thoughts for either of you?
No, not for me. Except I know where my time losses were.
Yeah.
The two grinds, the not having 10 key items, and then the warlocks.
Yeah, I mean, you were 20 seconds apart going into the subterrane, and then that grind kind of pushed you Tybalt back to about a minute going into Z, give or take. So yeah, that was obviously one, but it was like everything, little minutia are going to make that 20 seconds, right? Like it's nothing. So, I mean, you spent 20 seconds going in and getting that X-Cal off the first chest and tower, which was obviously super helpful. And that was one thing that kind of kept things close for you, is you had that, whereas Kohrek did not. So that was really exciting seeing that too. But anyway, I think I've probably tired everybody out from talking too much. So I'm going to let you all go, and I wish you the best of luck next week. It's going to be exciting.
Best of luck to everyone else.
Yep. Best of luck to you guys too.
Take care.
All right. Well, thank you again to Kohrek and to Tybalt for putting on what may stand to be one of the races of the tournament with how close that finished. It was an absolute treat to be a part of with you, Ground Flyer. It looks like we are going to be raiding over once it goes live to the Randomania race between Antidale and Castro. So that's going to be another great one to watch. They will be going live in a couple minutes, so we're just going to play some background music for y'all and just kind of go through and see if we have any final thoughts on this seed as well. It'll be a couple minutes again before we raid over there, so enjoy the tunes once we're done talking. But thank you to everyone in chat for hanging out. Thank you to Niabari for rolling this wonderful seed. Thank you to Alchemy for doing the tracking. And thank you to the runners, obviously, Kohrek and Tybalt, for putting on one heck of a show tonight. And Ground Flyer, this was a blast, dude. We got to do it again sometime.
Yeah, this is exciting. I'm glad we finally got a chance to get in the booth together. It's really cool. I think we got pretty decent chemistry. So yeah, I'm excited. We'll hopefully get a chance to do this again sometime.
Yeah, for sure.
We got lots and lots of matches left to commentate here, so there's going to be ample opportunity. I'm definitely going to be excited to be watching and commentating and doing anything I can to be part of the team, hanging out and helping out, bring these races to y'all. So I'm really excited to see where this goes.
Yeah, most definitely. So again, it was an absolute pleasure, y'all. I hope everybody enjoyed it. I don't see how you couldn't have enjoyed it unless you were actually running the race. I could see how that might be a little nerve-wracking. But for everyone else involved, I think this was a joy to watch, to commentate, to be a part of. So that's kind of all I got.
No, I think that's it. I think, probably that everybody's ready to listen to a little bit of tunes. So y'all can sit there and enjoy some music a little bit, and you will be raided over to the next race coming on in just a little bit. So hang out, listen to tunes, go get a drink, and I'll see you in chat over there, and we can watch some more awesome Free Enterprise action. It has been a pleasure. I am Ground Flyer.
I am Possum Morpheus.
And we are heading off now. Peace out, everyone. Take care of yourselves, and have a great night.